What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country, in Washington, D.C., and everything you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, stimulus check update, and daily news. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. And remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And always, thank you so much for hitting the like button for us down below. We got a lot to talk about here today. Let's jump right in. First, the United States basically says that Russia is lying about pulling back troops and is actually adding more troops. Check this out.
And they're saying we're moving back forces. You're saying, they're not moving any meaningful amount of forces, and in fact, they're doing the opposite. Why do you think they are making these claims when not only is there, what the intelligence that you guys are observing and then talking about publicly, but there's commercial satellite imagery, there's people who are posting stuff on TikTok. Why? I'm just curious about what you think their thinking is there, given the fact that it's something that, in this day and age with the access to imagery out there in the public, that they think that they could sort of get away with, if that's what you guys are saying.
Well, you're right that there are Russian words and then there are Russian actions. And it should be clear to everyone, it is clear to everyone who takes the time to investigate, that their words do not match their actions, and in fact, their words stand in stark contrast to their actions. And you can see that on social media, you can see that on publicly available satellite imagery, you can see that through any number of means. That's a question for the Russian Federation. What I will say, and this is as much from an historical perspective as it is from what we're seeing now, this is the Russian playbook. This is the playbook the Russians have used in the past, including in 2014, to paint a picture, or at least to attempt to paint a picture publicly, while they do the opposite in a way that they seek to obfuscate, in a way that they seek to obscure and to hide. This is not 2014 in the sense that social media is different. There are resources available to the public that were not available back then, but it's also not 2014 in the sense that we are standing up here almost every day and offering the context of what we know in an effort to be as transparent as we can with the American people and the international public, to do two things. In the first instance, and in a best-case scenario, to attempt to prevent, to deter the Russians from moving forward with what they are planning, what they have planned, or what they had planned all along. If we're not able to do that, and ultimately Putin will make the decision that Putin will make based on his own calculus, if we're not able to do that, what we will have done is to have put a spotlight on the fact that this was all a charade, this was all a show, and that while the Russians were claiming de-escalation, while the Russians were claiming a commitment to dialogue, that the opposite was taking place. And so that's why we've tried to be very clear about the disinformation, about the pretexts, the fact that the Russians did this precisely in 2014, and our growing alarm that the Russians may be planning a similar pretextual attempt in the coming hours, the coming days, knowing that it is very much part and parcel of their playbook.
Yeah, so you can see here from the New York Times, Ukraine tensions spike as the West and the United States accuse Russia of lying about the troop withdrawal. And furthermore, even more so, there are some preliminary attacks, we can call them here, from Russia. As you can see here, here are some images released by Ukrainian military officials of a kindergarten in eastern Ukraine, which they say has been damaged by shelling. And here are the pictures of the kindergarten here. You can see a hole literally through the brick. And here is the inside. They say that nobody was injured, though. You can see here in print, nobody was hurt, according to Ukrainian reports. The Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe reported multiple shelling incidents along the line of contact in East Ukraine. One of the things that the US and other countries have been warning about, part of Russia's, quote, playbook, is that they're going to say the whole false flag, if you've heard that term thrown around here, is that Russia's going to say that, oh, Ukraine attacked us and that's what started the war. We just had our 150,000 troops there just there for protection. They actually attacked us first, and that's what started the war. And President Biden and other countries have warned that it's a false flag. It's not. If you hear Russia say this, it's not true. They're warning about this ahead of time. And in fact, if you see footage or pictures of this, that Russia is just doctoring them, making them up, or even putting Russian soldiers in Ukrainian uniforms or anything like that. And it's called a false narrative or a false flag. And if you see this in the headlines, and I've showed a couple clips here over the last few days, that this is something that Russia very easily might come up with this false narrative. In fact, check this out here from very just recent few minutes ago. Vladimir Putin's spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has said the situation is, quote, escalating in the Donbas region and referred to the huge strike potential of Ukrainian forces. Now, remember that Ukraine has only a fraction of the amount of forces of Russia, and they would fall in a matter of hours or days to Russia. So realistically, they're not going to want to attack Russia at all. And it's a huge lie to think that they're a huge strike potential of Ukraine to attack Russia. They don't want to attack Russia because they're literally like 1/10 the amount of military personnel that Russia has. So, this is all propaganda for Russia to just say, oh yeah, Ukraine wants to attack us, so we have to defend ourselves, and that's why they're going to say that they have to invade. Even just yesterday, just a few hours ago yesterday, we have some more background on the accusations that Russian-backed separatists have made against Ukraine government forces of alleged mortar attacks that, there's accusations that Ukraine is attacking Russia with mortar attacks. And you can see here, just an hour later, Ukraine denied targeting Russia because they're not. So you can see these false theories here that Russia keeps trying to throw out there. And meanwhile, none of this is good news for the U.S. because we're just there's so many different webs that entangle us here. One of them here is the price of gas that is already rising just on the hint of this whole conflict. You can see this headline here from Yahoo News. Here comes $7 gas prices. Warn oil strategist in dire outlook. Yeah, they say here, quote, my guess is that you're going to see $5 a gallon at any triple-digit oil prices, $100 a barrel. Remember, oil just hit $95 a barrel just about 48 hours or so ago as you get to $100 a barrel. And you might get to $6.50 or $7 a barrel of oil. Forget about $150 a gallon. I don't know where we will be by then. Energy Word founder Dan Dicker said on Yahoo Finance Live. Dicker said that oil prices could shoot to $150 a barrel, or in line to the super spike highs from 2007. Crude oil has already climbed 13% in the past month to $94 a barrel. Russia produces 10 million barrels of oil a day, the equivalent of 10% of global demand. Even if the U.S. doesn't buy a single drop of that oil, if Russia invades Ukraine and stops producing that oil for the rest of the world, stops shipping it out, just this conflict alone would probably suddenly spike the price of oil worldwide. Even if the U.S. doesn't buy a single drop of it, it will raise the price of oil worldwide. Supply and demand, the price of oil on the open market. Yeah, remember that oil is, bound by the price it sells for, supply and demand, what it sells for on the open market. So even if the U.S. doesn't even buy a single drop from Russia, the price of oil will go up. So, yeah, this is just one of the consequences here, and who knows what really happens here. President Biden is threatening sanctions against Russia. Russia has what's largely considered the second largest and the second most powerful military in the world, behind the United States. China is considered closely the third. China has backed Russia previously. The whole thing's just a nightmare. Meanwhile, the Democrats plan to suspend the federal gas tax if they can get it passed. The problem is that Republicans are against this idea. I'm not sure if it's because, the Republicans are saying they're against the idea because, they don't want to give any support to Democrats during an election year, and they're calling it just a political farce because I don't think it's because they don't want to give relief to Americans, but they don't want to help out the Democrats. The problem here with that is that what happens to Americans is that Americans don't see relief if they don't get this passed. But Democrats are going to be trying to pass a bill here, whether they include it in a stimulus package here, do it through a standalone bill, or however they plan to do it. But you can see the headline here. Democrats plan to suspend the federal gas tax, and this would reduce the price at the pump. And hopefully we don't see that just completely drowned out by the whole Russia incident. And remember that also the price of gas also really raises inflation on everything. Remember that pretty much everything, or exactly everything you see at the store, has to be delivered by truck. And other routes, a lot of other things come by ship as well. The majority of goods are shipped in as well, and raw materials as well. So, not necessarily food. Most food items aren't, but a lot of, plastic goods and things on the shelf that aren't food-based are shipped in overseas. And so are a lot of raw materials. And when the price of oil goes up, the price of everything else goes up as well because of shipping. Whether it's just shipping here in the U.S. via trucks, everything goes up. Here's what Democratic Senator Debbie Stabenow from Michigan has to say. This is pretty interesting. Let me know your thoughts on this. Might be a little bit controversial, but let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Check this out.
This last year, it really was a headline of Democrats deliver, but there's more to do, and that's what we're focused on for the coming year as it relates to the costs that families are feeling every single day. And there's no question that our country still faces supply chain challenges. I certainly from Michigan can speak about that and what that means, and everything that we buy in terms of cars and appliances and every part of the economy, and we are laser focused on addressing that, and the increased costs due to COVID. And over again, when we look at what has happened when you shut the economy down in the United States, and globally, the ripple effect is in every part of our lives. And so we have been laser focused and will continue to be laser focused in addressing that. And Republicans have done nothing to lower costs. They have proposed nothing to lower costs. We've worked with President Biden to pass the American Rescue Plan that put shots in people's arms, to create safety for them, for their family, to get kids back in school. When the president took office, there were 46% of the children in America in school. Now it's 98%. That's a big difference, and we understand the challenges families still face under COVID, but it's safer. Children are back and learning in the classroom. And we've gotten our economy moving in the fastest, strongest way since 1984. It is amazing, the underlying strength, even when we've seen costs go up, which are very real. So consider a Michigan family with 2 young children. Dad works at a manufacturing plant. Mom manages a local restaurant. They're not wealthy, but they work hard, and they get by. Then the pandemic hits. This Michigan family needed help, and the American Rescue Plan delivered. We established the Restaurant Revitalization Fund so Mom's restaurant could stay open and keep her on the job. Republicans voted no. And we provided larger Affordable Care Act tax credits that cut the cost of their health insurance, made sure their children could see a doctor when they got sick. Republicans voted no. We expanded the child and dependent care tax credit. That means this family qualifies for an $8,000 tax cut to cover child care. Republicans voted no. This Michigan family was able to keep paying their rent thanks to the $1,400 economic impact payments and the largest tax cut in generations for American families with children. And again, every Republican voted no. The pandemic has been a tough time for this family and every American. But rather than joining us to tackle high costs and inflation, Republicans are busy standing up for big corporations that are price gouging Americans while making record profits. We are laser focused on lowering Americans' costs and continuing the strongest economic growth since 1984.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts there. I said it could be a little bit controversial because, she's bashing Republicans, and I'm not from either party, so I don't typically show things like that. But you let me know your thoughts here. Yeah, so the problem here is that we have to pass things to get inflation reduced, to get stimulus checks passed, to get anything done, right? Because without action, we're not going to see anything done, right? So, let me know your thoughts here. What do you think they need to do here over the course of, the next 30 days, the next 60 days, the rest of this year to help people in need, to help struggling families in need, to lower the costs, lower inflation, to, use the $800 billion of stimulus money? What do you think they need to do? So we have all the Republicans that are just voting no on all the bills here. But, I mean, is that going to help anybody? I mean, I get that they don't want to help the Democrats, right? But, I mean, we haven't seen any proposals from Republicans at all. So, again, just trying to, look at things down the middle here. There's just no proposals at all coming from Republicans here. There's no bills. There's, we do have a couple proposals from the Republicans for the child tax credits, but there's been no movement on it at all. And it's been quite a while since they actually did that. So, let me know your thoughts here on what needs to be done from Congress to actually get action done here. Right now, the only side that's actually trying to pass anything is the Democrats. And I'm just doing this from not either side, just looking at this from a realist. I consider myself a realist, just looking at things from a realistic point of view. We're not getting any action from the Republicans. Democrats are trying to pass some things. They have passed some things. But the inaction, even from Joe Manchin, because, Joe Manchin's a Democrat. So same thing from him. If he votes no on anything, which is okay. It's okay to vote no on some bills, right? Totally okay, right? But if you vote no on everything and you get nothing done, that won't help the people, right? So I understand kind of picking your battles. Maybe some things you don't agree with, some things you do, or maybe you got to change some things. Totally understand that, right? But you got to understand that inflation is really, really high right now. We're in a pandemic. 63% of people are behind on their bills, struggling to pay, living paycheck to paycheck. We have all this stimulus money that's passed right now and just waiting to be sent out. So let me know what you think they need to do. And I'll be here as a voice for you guys here. And I'll be contacting Congress and the Senate. I'll be sending them out, messages on Twitter and here on YouTube. And I'll be a voice here for you guys in the community. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I read through the comments every single day. And make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel here. It's completely free to do. So it literally costs nothing. You just click subscribe. And it makes it so you won't miss out on new videos. And click the bell icon after subscribing to get reminders when we go live with new videos on your device, which is every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch our newest video next, and you can click here where we talk about Congress potentially expanding the adult tax credits into potentially monthly checks for adults as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.